Hey, what it do? Back at you again. It's your boy E2 Blue. Here we go. Here we go. You already know. There is never a dull moment with our Dallas Cowboys. And yet again, we are in the news. I've never seen so much drama that ensues when it comes to releasing a player. Now, we all know that Dez Bryant has been released. And as a result of that, there has been drama. He did an interview the same day that he got released. I know you guys heard some of the stuff from that interview when he was saying that Garrett's guys were the reason why he was released. Now, do we know who all of Garrett's guys are? I'm pretty sure if you've been a Cowboy fan for at least the last 10 years, you know who his guys were. And he mentioned something about some of the team captains, which caught my attention because wasn't Dak Prescott one of the team captains? And didn't Dak and Dez both not have chemistry on the field and could not get the ball connected to each other? Now, for whatever reason that is, I don't know if that has any correlation to this situation or what's going on, but either way, I just feel like it doesn't. None of it makes sense because when they interviewed Dak, and I don't know if this is a ploy, but they interviewed Dak, and Dak was basically saying, "Hey, that's my guy. I had text messages with him the day he was released. We talked. We don't know what that conversation was about, but the way Dez was talking, it was like Garrett's guys, and he was talking about some players. We don't know what those players are." Terrence Williams tweeted a target with a bullseye in the middle of it. So we don't know if that means that he's on Dez's side as far as what he was saying about the coaching staff. But now it is a firestorm going on because now with these players contacting Dez Bryant and he's not on the team anymore for whatever reason, positive, negative. To me, it seems like it's a lot of negative going on because now you're putting a rift in the locker room. You might as well have kept him if you were going to do all that. Because if Dez Bryant was that bad of a person in the locker room, which from the outside looking in, it don't seem like he was. Yes, he had antics, and when players had their interviews with him, they talked about him all the time. They had conversations with him. They always spoke highly of him when they were getting interviewed by the Dallas media and the Dallas Morning News and 105 Fan, whatever the case may be, whatever media outlet was out there talking to him, he already knows that Dez was like. Now, coaching staff always keeps saying that we respect Dez and all this, and that's a bunch of crap of bullshit because, in my opinion, the way that they released him and this whole offseason, you could have done so many different things as far as, of course, teams don't owe players nothing. I get that. But from a point of interest of how much he's done for your team, I mean, his numbers, what he's done in the team for the 8 years that he's been on this team, like, I mean, having 73 touchdowns in the last 7 seasons, and I mean, which is the highest of all the quarterbacks in franchise history. But again, you didn't respect him enough to release him in free agency, so he can go out and possibly go to a team and whatever. I mean, he's probably going to still get picked up quickly. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, too. But it just, when you sit here and think about it, just none of it makes sense. Because they could have hashed this out with him privately. I spoke on this before. They could have basically said to him, Dez, we either want you in this team or we did. Or we don't. We already know that they didn't. So why not have cut ties before? I mean, we already knew the writing was on the wall when they signed Allen Hurns and Deontay Thompson. We already knew what was going to happen. But at the end of the day, I still think it was a mistake because Cowboys have not done anything to solidify why they released him. I feel like they made the situation worse by releasing him because now you have a rift with the players. That doesn't look good for young players that we have on this team already. The players that are now going into their sophomore year. It doesn't look good because they're looking at it like, God, what kind of organization am I working for? And I understand that you want to make players the scapegoat, or you want players to not be comfortable and say that, hey, anybody can be released. I get that. But not at the extent that they did it. It was so messy that right now, like, I feel like if they don't figure out something on this team or have a team meeting or do something to talk about what's going on, it's gonna get really ugly. And with players still talking to him, texting him and calling him, and I don't know whether that's positive or negative, but I mean they're reaching out. But when you look at what the coaching staff is doing, you kind of question things because it's like we understand this is a business. We know that football is a business, and we know that if you don't perform, you got to get out. We get that, but Dez's mishaps and Dez's bad play was not all on him. So you're gonna cut half the team because the whole team played a role in that. Because in my opinion, Dez was not the only receiver on this team that did not have a good year. Did T. Will not score a damn touchdown this season? 0. I love Terrence Williams. He's a great blocker in the run game and the pass game. But he makes bonehead decisions too. But we're not going to release him because these guys still are good players. It's not like they suck. It's just that, again, it's a team sport. You can't do it by yourself. You see what I'm saying? So, with that being said, Williams' numbers were down. He didn't score a touchdown. I think this is the first season that T. Will has been on the team that he hasn't scored a touchdown. Cole Beasley was beast in the year before. He's done half that production this past season. Can't count Ryan Switzer because he ain't get on the damn field. Because it goes back to the coaching. Like I said, we don't put our players on the field like we're supposed to. We don't switch things up like we're supposed to. So, again, they can say all they want about Dez. They can say that he missed meetings. They can say that he was late to stuff. They can say that he didn't do his rehab like he was supposed to. Well, if that was the case, he's been doing that for how long has he been on this team? If that was the issue, you didn't address this back then? You didn't talk to him about it? Because I feel like all that is a bunch of bullshit because you're just throwing that in there to try to make a smoke screen or something for people to think that that's not what is going on or that it's not bigger than what it is. It's much bigger than that. Dez already said that there were people on the team that wanted me to be here, and there were people that didn't. Obviously, it was more people that didn't want him to be because he's gone. Now, you and I don't know who exactly did not want him to be here, but you kind of already can figure that out if you know the team like I did. We know that Jerry Jones wanted him to stay because he specifically said that me and Jerry's still cool. He didn't say nothing about Garrett. He didn't say nothing about Linehan. And he damn sure didn't say nothing about his wide receivers coach, which is not even the coach on the team anymore, which I'm pretty sure he's gone because of the fact that they feel like, well, dag, you couldn't even keep Dez in check. And I'm pretty sure that this new wide receivers coach we have, Sanjay Law, I'm pretty sure that he can actually control Dez because, I've seen him when he was with the Colts. And he's a good wide receiver coach. That was a good pickup too. But I'm just saying, I feel like that they should have gave it another year. I mean, what are you going to do? So we have $8 million in the books. That's another thing I'm going to get to. We've seen players from other teams, and we see this all the time when a player gets released. Everybody's trying to recruit your boy. I said this yesterday that Dez said he wanted to stay in the NFC East, just so he could stick it to the Cowboys. Well, because of the timing that the Cowboys released him, that's not going to happen because most of the teams already spent their money in the offseason. I mean, if he was going to go to any team in the division, it would only thing that would make sense to me is the Redskins because they got crap wide receivers and they could probably use a guy with Dez's ability. And they always take our old players. They got Orlando Scandrick. And he was one of the ones that was advocating for him to come to the Eagles. So, we know that's not going to happen. What I think is, though, I have a hunch that he might go to the Texans. I don't know if you've seen, but DeAndre Thompson actually tweeted out You come on, bro. Come to the Texans. The Honey Badger, Tyrann Matthew said the same thing. He said, "Hey, come to the Texans," and he just got there. And DeAndre Hopkins also photoshopped a picture of Dez in a Texans uniform. Now, that would be intriguing for Dez because Houston is what, 3 hours away from North Texas? Dez lives in DeSoto. So he ain't got to get rid of his house if he goes to the Texans because he could travel back and forth to Houston. That would be an ideal place for him. Now, we don't play the Texans all the time, but it'd be interesting because he's also going to get thrown the ball by another quarterback with the same number, 4. That's interesting. So we'll see what happens there. This week you might see it happen because a lot of teams are starting their workouts on Monday, including the Cowboys. So if we see that he gets picked up by the Texans, you heard it from me. So with that being said, now that there's a little bit of money left because he's gone, what the hell are the Cowboys going to do with it? Well, let's bring it back full circle. Are the Cowboys going to come back and get Earl Thomas? Which would make sense. And I know for a fact that if the Cowboys land Earl Thomas, a lot of players, a lot of fans are going to be like, okay, well, I don't feel as bad that Dez is gone now because we have somebody to solidify this defense, somebody that would be good for this team. One, because we have their old defensive coordinator, Chris Richard, to work with the secondary guys. And I've said this earlier in the offseason when we first started talking about this whole Earl Thomas stuff. I said that if Earl Thomas came to the team, it would be a good fit because he would be a good veteran leader for these young guys that we have. And we will finally have somebody on the team in the secondary that's been to the Pro Bowl in I don't know how long. So I believe that he'd be good. We got the money now to do it. You got that money. Go and make it happen, Cowboys. Get Earl Thomas on this team. I'm advocating for it. If they get him, I'm going to be happy. If we hear news about Earl Thomas being traded to this team tomorrow, we'll see what happens. Now, the question is, what do we have to give up to get him? Well, we got 10 draft picks. So, at this point, we could give a third. We could give a fourth. We could give a third and a fifth. I'm okay with a third and a fifth. We can do that. Because we can recoup some of this stuff later by trading and other stuff like that. Again, we have room to do this with 10 picks this year. So, those of you that are mad that Dez is gone, me included, it's okay. I'm more worried right now about what it's doing to the team right now. Like I said, I feel like that there's a rip in the Cowboys locker room between these players, and I feel like there's some animosity going on. I feel like there's more trouble him not being on the team than him being on the team because now there's some issues going on. So it's up to the coaches and the owner and just the staff in general to get this under control right now before OTAs, before training camp, because you don't want to go into the offseason and you don't want to have these new draft players coming in here with all this drama going on the team because it's going to be a bad look for the team as a whole. Cowboys was always one of the most prestigious football teams in the league and the most known. So at the end of the day, y'all got to nip that in the bud. That is up to these owners and his staff members to get this locker room back to where it's supposed to be. And they have to talk to these players about what to say to the media, not to say to the media. If you have something to say, you can say it on your own time. But understand that everything that you say is going to come out. So you got to be careful. Again, these are these guys' jobs. Just like you and I have regular jobs, playing football is their job. So they got to put some parameters in place to get that under control. Because if they don't, it's going to be one hell of an offseason. I'm telling you, that drama not only matriculates through the players and the future players, but us fans look at it like, dang, like, so we're about to be one of those teams now, huh? Yeah. So I'm advocating for the Earl Thomas thing. I hope that it happens. I will be happy about it. Then we could go ahead and get Will Hernandez in the first round. Then they could do whatever from there. Don't quote me on this, but I'm still thinking about doing another first round mock draft before the draft. Things keep changing, and I keep changing my mind on stuff. That's why I haven't done it yet. I'm just thinking. So like I said, you guys gotta understand, doing mock drafts is really hard. This is actually my first year ever doing it, and apparently I got a knack for it. Who knew, right? Who knew? So um, I'm pretty decent at it, and I'm happy about that. But I learned a lot myself just by doing my research and like learning players and looking at tape and looking at college film and just listening to professionals talk about them and putting my perspective on it too, because y'all know that E2 keep it real, and I like to give y'all different perspectives. That's what I'm all about, y'all. So I appreciate a lot of you guys that like my content. You guys make me want to keep doing this, and it makes me feel good, and I appreciate it. Um, Last thing. So, Cowboys are not the only team in the division that got some drama going on, y'all. So, the Philadelphia Eagles, the defending world champion Philadelphia Eagles, are now dealing with their stuff because two of the players that they signed in the offseason of free agency might not even ever play a game for the Eagles. So, Michael Bennett, for a situation that happened back a year and a half ago in the Super Bowl where he allegedly assaulted a 66-year-old woman. Now, I don't know the whole story, but if this comes to head, if this situation, if he gets indicted, that's 10 years for your boy. That means his NFL career is over, and he will never play in the Eagles uniform. So we'll see what happens with that. Um, I'm not saying I don't care about it. I mean, it's really crazy, but I mean, I'm not an Eagle fan, but I'm just saying because, y'all, we're not the only ones that got issues. Also, too, their cornerback, Daryl Worley, he also got hemmed up by the police for drug possession, DUIs, and illegal gun possession. So you already know the Eagles going to cut him tomorrow. So, bye-bye. You just got on the team. You ain't even practiced with the team yet. You ain't even smelled the locker room yet. And you already getting cut. That's crazy. But, I don't know what be in these players' heads sometimes, because I know if I was in that situation and I was a player and I was making that money, I'm going to act right. Because, I mean, I don't even do that now and I'm a nobody. But I damn sure wouldn't be doing that knowing that my livelihood is on the line and I'm going to lose millions of dollars. That's stupid. But whatever the reason is, it is what it is. Like I said, every team got their issues going on right now. And Dallas Cowboys, we're not the only ones. So, Philadelphia, I hope y'all get that together. But, hey, y'all problems ain't my problem. Just like our problems ain't your problems. But at the end of the day, we all got to deal with it the way we deal with it. So, that's all I got for you guys tonight. Again, thank you for all my subscribers. I appreciate y'all. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button at the bottom. Come support your boy. We got about a week and a half left for this draft. And I'm telling you, this road trip is going to be off the chain. This is the first time I've recorded in my blue room in a while because I've been out and about. So I've been trying to spit out these videos to you guys. I appreciate you guys liking my stuff. Keep it up, and I'll keep it up too. Until next time, y'all, this is your boy E2 Blue, keeping it real.